And we are back. Welcome to the second day of the Euro semi-finals, where I've got to hold my hands up and say that yesterday I did get it wrong. I'll always be the first to admit when I got it wrong. However, I don't think I got it as wrong as some people would think. Obviously, I went for 1-0 France. I said that I thought it would be really, really hard to see how Spain would score against that French defence. And look, the way they scored against that French defence was by scoring two absolute worldies. Firstly, that Lamine Yamal goal, 16 years of age. They'll talk about it for generations. Unbelievable, coming inside, whipping it with so much bend on it into the top corner of the net. And what was really impressive with Spain is off the back of that goal, when the French were shell-shocked, they pushed them again, forced them into a mistake. It dropped to Dani Olmo, and what a bit of skill from Dani Olmo to skin Tchouaméni and then slam the ball. It was going wide. It should have been a Koundé own goal, but it was given as a Dani Olmo goal, who is now tipped to win the Golden Boot as things stand. However, as I said, those were two worldies that Spain scored, and I stand by what I said. The only matchup that I got wrong is I said I really struggled to see how Olmo would get anything off of Tchouaméni. And Dani Olmo won that battle. He was incredible, and obviously the skill on Tchouaméni for the goal was the reason Spain went 2-1 ahead. In terms of Yamal against Teo, and in terms of Nico Williams against Koundé, I don't care what anyone says, Hernandez and Koundé won their individual battles there. The Lamine Yamal goal was when he came inside and took on Rabiot, because he could not get past Teo Hernandez, and equally Nico Williams really didn't get past Koundé all night. So it's interesting. It would been very interesting to know what would have happened if Yamal wouldn't have scored that absolute worldie, but that is football. When you've got quality players, they can produce moments of absolute brilliance, and it was those moments of brilliance that got Spain ahead. And then what impressed me the most from there is how Spain approached the rest of that match. That second half performance, in particularly from Fabian and Rodri, signalled to the two sides playing in the semi-final tonight that if we go ahead on the final on Sunday, you are not having any chance of getting back into this football match. And what made me laugh so much was the amount of times that Williams and Yamal in the wide areas were moaning at Rodri and Fabian for not feeding them in the balls in behind. But that's the exact reason why Spain won. Because against Germany, they were playing those balls, and then Yamal and Williams were giving it away, and that's how Germany kept getting chance after chance after chance, and then Germany got their equaliser. They made that decision in the second half yesterday that that was not happening again. And the link-up play, the movement from those Spanish players to keep the ball away from those French players for the majority of that second half, especially in those last 10-15 minutes, was absolutely superb from the Spanish. And fair play to them for that, because they saw out the game by keeping the ball to the absolute maximum. But like I said, be interesting to know what would have happened if the two worldies weren't scored, because I still don't think they created that many chances, Spain, but we'll see what happens on Sunday if they don't score any worldies. As for today, though, we are obviously here to talk about the other semi-final taking place tonight. So before we get into it, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of my predictions and reactions to the Euros, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We will, of course, have another prediction video for you this afternoon for the other Copa America semi-final. Just an FYI, I got the first semi-final absolutely spot on last night with a 2-0 win for Argentina. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The second semi-final taking place tonight in Dortmund. It is the Netherlands taking on the Three Lions of England. And, well, the question that obviously you guys are going to have to ask me is, how am I going to approach this prediction? And I'm going to approach this as if I am not an England fan, and I am looking on this prediction absolutely objectively, as I would any other fixture throughout any of these prediction series. Against Switzerland, I went for the biased England prediction of I believe we can beat Switzerland, I believe we're better than Switzerland, and I went for a 2-0 win to England, said it could even be more, and it ended up being a 1-1 draw that went to penalties, which was the more realistic outcome, if I'm being honest. So today, I'm going to be objective, which is, based on what I've seen so far in this tournament, England sit far too deep. The Netherlands look very dangerous when they go forward. However, the Netherlands look very dodgy defensively. The issue is that in the last two matches that England have played in knockout football, the last 16 game and the quarter-final, in the normal time, so from 0 to the full-time whistle, England have only had 2 shots on target. And that was the Bellingham overhead kick in the 95th minute against Slovakia, and that was the Saka long-range goal into the bottom corner in the 80th minute against Switzerland. England have not had any other shots on target in normal time in either of the knockout games so far. So even though the Netherlands look very suspect defensively, England have not been attacking enough to create opportunities to score to exploit what's looking like a pretty dodgy Dutch defence so far in this tournament. So the way I see it, the balance of play is going to be in favour of the Netherlands. And if England do continue to sit back, and if England line up the way everyone's expecting them to, with Trippier at left back instead of Luke Shaw, I think it's going to give a little bit too much impetus to the Dutch. So from a non-biased perspective, looking in at this game, I think the Dutch have to be considered the favourites for this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Holland. That is just purely based off of what I've seen from these two sides in this tournament so far, and not to mention in the head-to-head record as well. The last 5 times these sides have played, the Dutch have won 4. The most recent being the Nations League semi-final, where the Dutch won in extra time after England sort of did all right, and then not really, because they just sat back like they always do under Gareth Southgate, and the Dutch overwhelmed us in extra time and got the win. So could it be something along those lines again today? Of course it would. It's England in knockout football. The possibility of extra time and penalties are huge, but as things stand, I still think the Dutch have to be considered the favourite in normal time, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win as my serious prediction. If I'm going to be biased, I still believe that England should win this match. I think England should actually be the favourites for this match. And if they look at the weaknesses in that Dutch defence, and they can get Saka pushed forward, if they can get Foden and Bellingham on the ball regularly, if they can feed the ball into Mainoo and Rice regularly, we should win that midfield battle over the likes of Schouten and Rinders in midfield. Xavi Simons will probably be a threat. Gakpo shouldn't be a threat down that right-hand side when you've got Saka and Walker out there. My worry is going to be Dumfries up against Trippier, because Dumfries is so powerful and driving forward, and he'll be on his right foot as well. So Trippier's going to have a really hard time. Like, I don't mind the idea of having Trippier against Yamal in the final, because Yamal always comes inside on his left foot, and that might suit Trippier on his right foot. But Dumfries powering forward down that right-hand side is a real concern for me tonight. But other than that, realistically, player for player, shape and style, England should have the advantage in this match. But like I've already spoken about, my worry is that they will again sit too deep and allow the Dutch to dominate, and that's why I've gone for the Dutch win. But if we're just a little bit more progressive tonight, I genuinely believe that we should win this game. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Obviously, there will be a post-match reaction to whatever happens tonight, be it victory or defeat, normal time, extra time or penalties. Post-match reaction will be up as soon as possible after the full-time whistle and potentially penalties have been struck. But that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you very much for watching as always. I'll see you in the Copa America prediction this afternoon.